Well, howdy there, folks. Have a look at that. New all-time high in the public account here today, $3.32 million. And it's pretty crazy because it was Red Dead Redemption until really like the last 5 minutes of trading, and it pulled out another green day. So congratulations to everybody out there hitting new all-time highs in your portfolios. Phenomenal to see. Obviously, always be thankful, right? Always be thankful. In this video, I want to cover three things for you. Okay, first thing is some very strange moves happening in some stocks out there. Some stocks making some extremely outsized moves. We're going to go through that, why that's happening. Okay, that's very important. I cover that so everybody understands what's going on here. Second subject we're going to cover is I sold $62,000 of a stock here today. We're going to talk about what stock that was, why I went ahead and did it. Third subject we'll speak about is one stock I bought here today, and I also bought two hedges here today as well. So we got a bunch to go through in today's video. I appreciate y'all being here, and only one thing I need from you guys is for you to smash that like button on this video. Take 1 second out of your day and just gently hit that like button for you guys. I appreciate you doing that, and I also appreciate everybody that's subscribed here to the channel. We are now 800 and I don't even know, maybe 830,000 subscribers or something crazy. So appreciate y'all for being here. Additionally, if you need help understanding all the stuff you need to understand on how to play this game on a high level of stock market investing, click the pinned comment down there, fill out that form. That'll be to apply to join my private stock group, get access to all of my entire premium courses, as well as access to my private Discord community, exclusive weekly videos, access to 1000x stocks, all that stuff. We can bundle it all together so you guys have it all in one place, okay? Alrighty, so let's get rolling here, folks. First thing up, look at this. S&P 500. Just a May day, right? So sleepy, 0.2% move. You wouldn't have thought there was much action today, but oh, baby, was there some action today. Check out Nike stock, for instance. Nike stock made a 6% plus move, right? Nike stock's obviously just been a devastated stock for the past, let's call it 2 or 3 years now at this point in time, right? And then it just makes a 6% pop here today. And what's going on here? Well, part of the reason why I did that is this news came out. Nike stock rises with Kim Kardashian's Skims partnership. Nike became the best performer of the Dow Industrial Average here today after the sportswear company said it will collaborate with Kim Kardashian's Skims to launch a new brand. Nike Skims in spring will launch at select retail locations in the U.S. and on Nike's website. A global expansion will follow in 2026, the company said. The partnership marks the first time Nike is working with another company to launch a new brand. The strategy comes amid a turnaround for, obviously, the company led by Elliott Hill, who, came in a few months ago, right? So, I mean, obviously, this is great news for Kim Kardashian. Like, that woman's net worth is about to increase a whole lot more. But this is also good news for Nike. It's not like Nike's doing anybody any favors here. This Skims brand is very hot. It's a very hot brand. And so Nike partnering here, it honestly makes a lot of sense. It honestly makes sense from both sides, right? And I think the biggest thing this shows me really, right, is Nike's able to get in with everybody they want to get in with. Because if Nike comes to you and they say they want to partner with you, you say yes. Yes, please. Where do I sign for that, right? It's just the way it is. And they can do that with the biggest celebrities in the world, right? They do that with some of the biggest musicians in the world. They have partnerships there. Some of the biggest social media folks, like a Kim Kardashian, right? Partnerships there. The biggest athletes in the world. So Nike's brand is so famous, so successful, so wanted that if Nike comes to you, you sign on the dotted line. And that's exactly what we have seen play out here. And so, obviously this is very, very helpful in regards to Nike, right? There's a lot to be excited about, in my personal opinion, in regards to Nike. And I've spoke about a lot of that recently. I believe Nike was one of the stocks I covered last week on 6 Stocks I'm Buying Now, February edition. Also, I covered Nike extensively here in this video a month ago. Nike stock is easy money. So I've been talking about Nike stock, banging my hand on the table a lot over this past couple months, and it's a great opportunity. So obviously you see me buying the stock. Then you see something like Estee Lauder moving up 5+% here today. Another beaten down dog stock. And what's going on here? Any big news? No. No, there's nothing. There's no big news in regards to Estee Lauder. But we'll get into why some of these stocks are making such outsized moves, right? But something you got to understand. I'll get into that in just a moment, okay? You got Cheesecake Factory making a 4.5% move here today. Another big move. Let me come back to Estee, okay, before I move on. I think it's important I say this so everybody really understands this point I'm about to make, right? 5% plus move on no news here today. Here's the deal, okay? everybody that could have wanted to sell Estee Lauder stock has sold that stock in mass for the last several years. Okay. So at some point in time, you reach a point where it's so hard to get any sort of major selling pressure on a stock like EL, right? And EL even came out with arguably disappointing results. I don't even say arguably, it was disappointing results. And yet the stock still has been hard to get down anymore. That's because everybody that wanted to sell this stock has sold this stock. And so it's hard to get any major selling pressure. Meanwhile, you have people like myself and others. You think I'm the only one in the stock market that recognizes EL's very undervalued right now for anybody that has a little bit longer time horizon of a year, 2, 3 out, right? I'm sure some hedge funds are looking at this one, taking a peek here and saying, okay, this is a pretty good opportunity to get in now, right? And so as you see more and more in that, you can see more and more upward momentum in a stock like EL, even without any news, even without any earnings, anything like that. You'll just see a stock like that continue to pop because people are saying, hey, you know what? It's too good of an opportunity. And like I said, if you wanted to sell EL stock in any major way, you already did that the last several years. Like, it's done. It's done. And so that's when stocks bottom. Stocks bottom on bad news. That's the thing you got to understand. And that's the thing a lot of people don't understand about the stock market. Stocks bottom on bad news. People assume that you have to start getting good news on a stock to get a stock to bottom. No. As somebody who's been in the market 16 years now, I've seen it continuously where stocks will bottom on bad news. Some bad earnings, garbage, whatever, right? Bad whatever. Oh, we're doing big layoffs. We're laying off 4,000 employees. And the stock bottoms and starts moving up. Happens all the time. People think it has to be like the company has to reverse their earnings and everything has to start going well. No. By that time, the stock's probably already appreciated 50%. It's doubled up. It's tripled up. By the time the story gets good again, the stock's already moved so much. It would be great if that's how it worked in the stock market, where a stock would wait until the time when everything turns. But here's the thing. People anticipate before it happens. People are experiencing the market. They can see a turnaround. They can look at the numbers. They can say, okay, I see a turn coming here. Boom, they start buying before it's technically gotten good, right? Also, guess what? People talk in the industry. Executives talk. Lawyers talk. These folks talk behind closed doors. And word gets out on, hey, this is happening with the business is happening. People buy up, right? And so you get some insider activity there. There's a lot of different various reasons on why stocks bottom before the news cycle changes, okay? And so that's just something to keep in mind here. By the time Estee Lauder has really good earnings again, where do you think that stock's going to be? My guess is it's somewhere between $100 and $200 by the time the earnings are actually good again. And people are like, wow, Estee Lauder's back. Look at the revenue, look at the margins, look at the profitability. That's what happens with these stocks, right? Cheesecake Factory, 4.5% plus move here today. Obviously great to see that. Now stock is up 50% in the past 6 months. This stock now we're up $47,000 in the public account on. That does not include dividends received on this one. So Cake's obviously performing well, but we have something very big that is about to happen in regards to Cheesecake Factory stock. And when I say big, I'm talking in the next 24 hours specifically. And that is Cheesecake Factory earnings are tomorrow after the bell. So that's big, right? That is big. We're going to see what's going on with their revenues. We're going to see what's going on with their profitability, their margins. I'm expecting all to increase. I'm expecting the revenues to increase. I'm expecting the margins to increase. I'm expecting the net income and the earnings per share to all increase. So everything across the board should get better and better and better for Cheesecake. But I'm also going to keep a very close eye on Thursday after the bell because Texas Roadhouse is reporting. Texas Roadhouse, I always tell you guys, in my opinion, that's the most well-run restaurant chain, even more well-run than Cheesecake, right? Cheesecake has way more growth opportunities and it's a cheaper valuation. But Texas Roadhouse, I always kind of give them the nod as the best-run restaurant chain, right? And so I'm going to be very intrigued to see what Texas Roadhouse numbers are. What's Texas Roadhouse's revenues looking like, margins, and their net income, and what are those going up or down on a year-over-year basis versus Cheesecake Factory? So this is going to be very intriguing to really pay attention to in 2025, in my opinion. Now, keep in mind the numbers these guys are reporting is for 2024. So do keep that in mind, right? Because we're talking about the October, November, December quarter. These guys are all going to be reporting. I think as the year goes along, really take a peek at Cheesecake versus Texas Roadhouse earnings. I think that's going to be fun to watch, okay? You see a stock like SoFi up another almost 4% here today. up 136% in the past 6 months, and no news. The stock is now, look at it. And we're now up 137% on the stock. It's performed tremendous. I wish I owned more shares, but although this one continues to go up rapidly, I spoke about this on the reaction channel. I'm not sure if you guys follow me on the reaction channel or not, called Jeremy Lefebvre Makes Money, right? But I was speaking about a bunch of different stocks yesterday in this video. I'm doing this with $37,000, right? And one of the stocks I talked about was SoFi. And I was basically saying, like, it doesn't really make sense to sell SoFi stock yet because SoFi is not valued like a financial giant. Yeah, clearly, right? The market cap is, somewhere in the $10 to $20 billion range, right? Financial giants are $100 billion market caps, several $100 billion market caps. But if you're a SoFi shareholder who owns a stock or you're buying the stock, why are you buying SoFi? Is it for their short-term earnings per share? No. Why are you buying SoFi stock? Why are you a holder of SoFi stock? I'll tell you exactly why. Because you believe that SoFi is going to become a financial giant over the next 10 years, right? If we look out 2025 to 2035, you believe over this next 10 years, they're going to become a financial giant. Big dog. Known all over the developed world. Very famous financial institution. So if that does play out, right, why would you sell it now? It just doesn't make sense because this one's probably going to a $100 billion market cap long term, or $200 billion, or $300 billion, or $400 billion, right? So you're just not that intrigued at selling at a 10 or 15 or $20 billion market cap. It just doesn't make sense, right? And so that's kind of where I'm at in regards to SoFi. Like if this one was already valued like it's a financial giant, like let's say the market cap already was $100 billion in this company, or 150 or 200 billion, I would sell SoFi. I would sell SoFi so fast because I'd be like, oh, it already priced like it's a financial giant, even though it's not a financial giant, right? But it hasn't priced like that yet. And that's the beautiful thing with SoFi. And so that's why that one continues to see momentum, because people look out there and they say, there's still a phenomenal opportunity here in regards to SoFi. So, that's something that, you kind of got to factor in here, right? Oh, I did want to mention this. This is very important. I mention this to everybody on the channel right now. Thank you for being a member. So last week or the week before, basically YouTube wanted me to set up like this membership thing. It's like $4 or something like that to join, and you get like all these different emotes and whatnot. So I have no clue how to join it. Don't ask me. I don't know. But all I want to say is for the 16 people that became a member of the channel, I appreciate y'all. And so far I have these emojis, these custom emojis for you guys. I got the Steel membership cards, I got the 6-figure award, I got Tesla, I got AMD, and then we have Warren Goat, we have that emoji, we have Bezos Beast, Bezos looking jacked there, we got the SoFi one and Palantir, and then it says I need 4 more members, and I guess I can do more emojis and whatnot. So I'll continue to add more emojis, and if you guys that are members ever want me to add more specific ones or stocks or whatever, I can always add those, but that's what I have for now. So just want to say thank you for everybody that's a member of the channel and pays $4 or whatever it is to be here. So I appreciate y'all for being here. Okay. Alrighty. Next up here. So, we spoke about the market kind of dead today, right? S&P 500 up 0.2%, NASDAQ up 0.07%. That's a pretty dead day, right? But look at the RSP. That's an equal weight S&P 500. Massive strength there, 0.77% move. And that's why you're seeing a lot of these stocks move big. We finally have the breath coming in this market. The biggest argument against the stock market for the past year or two has been what? All it is a bunch of stocks at the top. Meta, nvidia, Microsoft, blah, blah, blah. All those stocks are going up, but no one else is doing well. That's been the argument. And people have said, I don't feel comfortable in the market till breath comes back, until these stocks that are laggers are coming back, till the dividend stocks start performing well, till the value stocks start doing well. It's got to be more than just NVIDIA and Meta. Well, we're starting to see that play out a little bit. But the moves you're seeing, right? Look at Wynn Resorts. Wynn Resorts crossed $90+ here today, right? The moves are pretty dramatic. That's the thing. Like you see RSP up, 0.7%. It wasn't even up 1%. But look at how many dividend and value stocks today moved 2 percentage points, 3 percentage points, 4 percentage points, 5, 6 percentage points. It's a long list of them. That's a beautiful thing. So if you're talking about, let's say the RSP goes up, hey, Cybertruck, let's say RSP goes up 10% the next 6 months, right? Breath really, widens in this market and RSP goes up 10% the next 6 months. There's going to be a vast amount of dividend and value stocks that appreciate 10%, or excuse me, not 10%, 30%, 40%, 50%, just off a 10% move for RSP. And so that's the important thing you got to understand about this whole game and kind of the market, broadening out and whatnot, right? And so a lot of people are still caught up into just the things that have worked really well the past, we can call it 2 years, but you got to open up your eyes a little bit. There's other opportunities out there in this market, and there's going to be some stocks that perform unbelievable over this 2025, and it's up for you to kind of see where those opportunities are, right? Alrighty, next up here, I sold $62,000 of a stock here today. What did I sell? Why did I do it? And then we'll talk about one stock I bought and some hedges I bought and why I did that, okay? So, stock I sold here today is Palantir. Sold another 500 shares of Palantir at $124. It shouldn't come as a surprise, really, because I've been cashing Palantir now, over the past few months. And so I just continue to get phenomenal pricing on Palantir. Happily selling shares to folks that are willing to buy them off me, right? So in regards to this one, right, the thing you got to understand about Palantir is this stock is now priced like it's a big boy company. They're now priced like they're a massive SaaS player, like they're a big dog, right? We're talking about a market cap that now is approaching $300 billion. That's incredible, right? And to put that into context, Salesforce, which is actually a big dog company, right, in this space, they have a market cap of just over $300 billion. So we have a very interesting dynamic where Palantir has now priced in so much future growth that the company is now valued like it's a big boy company, but they're still a long, long way from ever being an actual big boy company in terms of revenues and profitability, right? Here's the deal. If you look at Salesforce's, trailing 12-month revenues, it's $37+ billion, right? Palantir is probably going to do somewhere between $3.7 billion and maybe $4 billion in 2025. Maybe best case scenario is $4.2 billion. That would be best case scenario. This is nothing. That's literally nothing, right? Compared to somebody like a Salesforce that's doing a little less than $40 billion. So that's the thing you got to understand about what's going on here with Palantir stock and how ridiculous this is getting is it's now pricing in already that it's a big boy company. And we still got, it's going to take Palantir at least a decade to really become a true big boy company and get to revenues of, first off, you can make a debate if Palantir will ever be able to get to revenues of 30, 40, 50 billion, right? But let's say you're a believer and you're like, I can see it getting there. I think we're going to get to $30 billion of revenue someday, or 40 billion or 50 billion. That's definitely possible, but it's so many years from now. So many years from now. And that's the important thing you got to understand, right? And if you look at Salesforce's stock over time, right, and this is just the last 15 years or so, roughly, of Salesforce, 15, 16 years, what you're going to find is something very interesting. Now, keep in mind, Salesforce was never priced nearly as crazy as Palantir in regards to pricing in so much future growth. That's the first thing you got to understand. But even despite that, CRM's had 2 years where the stock fell around 50% roughly, right? Over the past 15 years. It had a 20% plus drop, and then it had 2 baby drops among that time, right? And so we're going to see a massive, massive crash in regards to Palantir stock eventually. But why am I not out there buying put options on Palantir right now? There's too much momentum still in it. The time to get involved with, and I wouldn't be surprised if eventually I do buy put options on Palantir and make a fortune. I wouldn't be surprised if I eventually make 6 figures on put options on Palantir when that time comes. I'm not ready for that yet. There's too much momentum in the name. Would I be surprised if Palantir was $200 3 months from now? 4 months from now? Wouldn't be surprised at all. You got to understand, when a stock like this has this crazy of momentum, right? You got to be very careful with trying to get your timing right in regards to this one, because you could have made the argument that this stock is way overvalued at $100 and now it's, approaching 125. You could have made an argument at $80, $70, $50, and it just continues to move up. That's why I'm not buying puts on this one yet. There will probably be a time when it's very attractive to buy puts, but it's not yet. Because here's the deal. If Palantir comes through again next quarter, another reacceleration of growth, we're talking they go 40% plus, right? With another great guidance, that gives you the fundamental story of still the excitement being there, right? And plus you got the trader momentum still there. Like eventually this one will top and it will move down, but you gotta exhaust the momentum in it. That's the thing. You gotta exhaust the momentum and then come behind it with like slower growth rates. So let's say we get to late 2025 and the comps start getting really, really tough, right? And the momentum kind of gets exhausted. Maybe that's a time. But I'm gonna wait on this one to go against it until the fundamental story starts breaking in regards to growth rates start slowing. And that doesn't mean Palantir is going to stop growing. Like company's going to grow for the next 5, 10, 15 years. But when the rate of growth slows, like let's say they get up to like 45% growth, and then they go down to like 42%, and then they go down to like 39%. By that time, the stock's already getting hammered because of how much they've already priced in. And then all of a sudden, the more the stock goes down, the more the traders start to lead the stock, and then you get exactly the opposite of what's happened with Palantir over the past year or two will then play out over that next year or two, right? And it'll just be an onslaught of selling that will be incredible, but it's not yet. And so for right now, it makes sense to sell shares. It makes sense to sell into the momentum, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm getting unbelievable pricing on this stock right now, and I'm selling into the momentum. But to go against it and make a bet against it, that's a whole different game. You got to understand. Very important, okay? Now, today I signed up 14 people in the private stock group have now hit 6 figures in their portfolios and sent them on in. So my wife had me sign these up. She's the one that actually sends these out, right? If you've been trained under me in the private stock group, what do I always tell you guys? I always tell you, be the house, not the player at the casino. The stock market can be turned into a big casino, right? You don't want to be, because here's the difference. The player at the casino is playing on what? They're playing on emotion. They're playing on hope. They're playing on vibes. They're playing on, I think. What is the house doing? What's a casino owner doing? They're playing a game on what? Math. They're not playing on hope. They're not playing on, I think, maybe. And that's the issue. We got a lot of people in the stock market right now that, when I see it, that are kind of like, oh, I wish, I didn't sell Palantir last week, or, I wish I didn't cash out shares because it's even higher. And it's like, that's the same exact mentality as going to the craps table, right? And you win a bunch of money, and you pull your money off, but then you keep standing there at the craps table. And then the next guy rolls, and he's rolling everything, and everybody's winning at the table. And you're like, gosh, man, why didn't I stay on that craps table? Or you're playing at the roulette wheel, right? And you win a bunch of money. And then you pull it off, but then you stay at the roulette wheel, and you're like, I think it's going to come up black here. And it comes up black. And dang it, why am I not still playing on that roulette wheel? It's a gambler's mentality. I have no problem. If Palantir goes to 224 in the next 3 months, I have no problem that I sold shares, 500 shares today at 124. I don't care. I'm playing a game of math. I'm not playing a game of hopes and prayers. It's a different game. I'm the casino. Other folks are the house. Excuse me. I'm the one running the casino, right? And the other ones are the players at the casino. It's just a different mentality. And that's how you got to play this game. If I get a chance to take incredible profits that mathematically make sense, I'm going to take those. Like, that's just the name of the game. Like, I don't want to run off of hope of like, well, maybe it'll go to 500. Maybe it'll go to $500 billion mark. I don't care. Like, sweet. I got some more shares to sell. I got another 2,000 in the public account. I'll be happy. Give me $200. I'll be happy to sell another 1,000 shares. Like, it doesn't matter to me. If Palantir went up high enough, I wouldn't mind selling my whole position. That's just, it's a different mentality. There was a great interview done many years ago by 60 Minutes on Steve Wynn. This was actually done during the great financial crisis around like 2009. And when they were opening the Encore side of the building, they asked him, they said, hey, have you ever known somebody that came, to your casino properties? Because he also, before that, he owned Bellagio, he owned Treasure Island, he owned the Mirage, he owned casinos in Atlantic City. They say, you ever known somebody that, continually comes to the casino and wins over time? I said, nope, no one, right? Why? Because he's playing a game of math, and other people are playing a game of hope. That's what you got to understand. And that's what I'm playing. I'm playing a game of math here, and I run the numbers, I run the projections, and I say, okay, this is a very, and there's a very different story back in 2022. Like, the math around Palantir just made a lot of sense to be buying Palantir stock in 2022. Like the math lined up. Like if you looked at the balance sheet, what was on the company's balance sheet, you looked at the product, right? And kind of understood the marketplace and what future growth rates could go to for that product. It made a lot of sense to be a buyer of Palantir stock at that time, right? Like the math lined up and the business lined up. The SWOT analysis lined up. Now, whew, it's a dangerous game now at this point in time. The story's changed, right? And in that amount of time, we're talking about, the company's added $200 billion plus of valuation. So that's what you got to understand about this, right? Next up here, let's talk about a stock I bought and 2 hedges, and then I'll give a little more advice out here, okay? So first up here, I bought some AMD. 114 shares here today, 139 more shares added of AMD. So this is a position that now in the public count, I'm up to 1,700 shares of AMD. What's the biggest I could make AMD position? The biggest I would feel comfortable making AMD is 2,500 shares in the public count. That's like my max level. That does not mean I will take it to 2,500 shares, because I wouldn't mind if I stopped at like 2,000 shares in the public count. But I'm just saying, like, let's say, whole market got hit or something, stocks are getting wrecked, whatever, tariffs, blah, blah, blah. Okay, maybe I take it up to 2,500, but that would be my max level of like, I can't take it, because I always have to watch exposure and make sure I don't get too exposed, right? So anyways, that's kind of where I'm at with AMD, and obviously I talk about that stock a lot on the channel. Now this stock has now grown to become the 6th biggest position in the public account, which means, because look at this. If you look at the top 7 positions I have in the public count, right? So many of them are sitting on big gains. $961,000 of gains, $264, $127, $234, $50,000, and $47,000. The only one I'm red on of the top 7 stocks in public count is AMD, which means if and when AMD goes on its run, AMD is going to become a massive position in the portfolio. And when I say massive, I'm talking it's going to become a top 2 position in the public account. And the other great thing for me with AMD is I don't need to sell it anytime soon. AMD could double from here and go from a $200,000 position to a $400,000 position, and I'm likely not selling because the valuation still would make a lot of sense given what I believe are going to be the mathematical growth rates of this company over the next few years and based upon where the forward P is trading at today. So, like, AMD is going to be, in my opinion, a lot of fun over the next few years. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I think I'll be right, and I think we'll be talking about some crazy profits long term in regards to AMD. Next up here, what else did I buy? So I bought another 5 contracts, put option contracts on Smallmart. Paid $1.89 for those, and then I bought another Costco put option contract as well. Those are hedges. I did speak about those, if I recall, in this video I did 4 days ago on the reaction channel, Jeremy Lefebvre Makes Money. That has 73,000 views. I believe I spoke about why I'm going against both those stocks as hedges right now. So if you're more interested in hearing my thought process on why I'm, putting on those hedges right now actively, you might want to check out that video, right? Now, 2 things I want to leave you guys with here that I think are very important. I talk about these before you guys take off, okay? 1, make sure you're building your portfolio weekly or monthly. Make sure you got your income and expenses in a good place where you're able to make deposits every week or every 2 weeks or at least once a month. So important. I always say that's the most important thing to being a successful investor. Always be in a position where you can buy continually, right? And build your portfolio, regardless of if it's a bear market, a bull market, a floundering market, a kangaroo, it doesn't matter. You got to continually be buying out there and building your portfolio stronger, bigger, okay? Second up here, know the game that you're playing. I see too many people in this market right now gambling money. They don't know how to play the game, right? And imagine we were going to play a game of chess, you and I, right? But you have no clue how to play chess. And so you're just moving pieces around. You don't know what the strategy is. You don't know anything. You think you're going to do very well over time? No. You could maybe get lucky, but it's not going to look very good for you. Let's say, we're all sitting around 5 experienced poker players and then 1 player at the table that has no clue what they're doing, right? They don't even know what the rankings of the hands are, for Pete's sake, right? They got no clue. What do you think is going to happen over time? Like, player that does have no clue what they're doing, they're going to lose all their money over time. They might be able to get lucky on a hand here or there, right? No clue what they're doing, just betting and gambling. But over time, they'll get every penny taken from them at that table if they're there long enough. Because the other ones understand what? the math around the game. They understand how to play the game. And the other person is just gambling money. And there's too many people in the stock market right now that are gambling money. They don't understand what's going on and things like that, guys. Don't be that person. Don't be that person, because there's going to be a lot of pain coming for you in your future if you're that person that doesn't know what you're doing, because you're going to get caught off sides in the market. You're going to be put in some bad positions. And, you're ultimately, even if you make money, you're going to way limit your gains by not knowing what you're doing in this market. So do keep that in mind. Take things up to a higher level. Don't just throw money out there and gamble and hope the stock goes up. Hope is not a good strategy in the stock market. Ask anybody that's been doing this game for a long time. They'll tell you hope is not a sustainable strategy over the long term. Short term, anything can happen. Same way as if I was flipping a coin right now and we were betting on it. Anything can happen. It might come up heads, might come up tails, right? Anything can happen. But over the long term, you got to know what you're doing in this game. Very, very important, right? Obviously, my private stock group can help you out immensely in regards to that. I have all those course curriculums: Become Master Stock Market, Millionaire Playbook, Stock Options Mastery, Dividend Investing Mastery, Financial Statements Mastery, right? My Valuation Mastery course, as well as exclusive videos teaching you guys so many subjects each week. So yeah, if you want to get things up to a much higher level, click the pin comment, fill out a form, see if we can get you access in there. And also get using our premium software, which is 1000xstocks.com, our research platform. That helps you out tremendously in being educated when you go to make moves out there versus, just throwing money out there, right? Be the house. Be the actual casino. Don't be the player at the casino. All right, guys, much love as always, and have a great day.